Hello and welcome to the Fabishmak podcast. It's a new episode after a very long time, and I'm gonna do it in video because I just have a lot of fun stuff to do. And most of the time when I talk, it almost seems like sometimes people don't get me because they don't see the expression. So I'm gonna try and nail all of them today. But before we jump into that, I want to announce two things. One, I have Forward NFT, and there's a project I'm doing called 17 Immortals. It is so cool. I've been trying to explain it to people and they don't get what I'm trying to talk about. So let me try one more time. All right. So Forward NFT is an account, and then 17 Immortals is a project. Now, 17 Immortals. The thing is, like, before I knew about NFTs, I always loved like photography and stuff, right? But I never like taking photographs of stuff that don't relate to me. Like, just going and taking photos of like animals or flowers, like, what does that have to do with me, but like taking photographs of moments, I don't know if that's even like a branch of photography, but it should, like momentary photography, that should be a thing. So anyway, so I take photographs of like moments and people, and sometimes they're unexpected, and then I pile them together. So I picked 17 out of like 1,000. And if you've heard of the blockchain, you've heard of crypto, you've heard of NFTs, you can send stuff to the blockchain for many, many years. So I decided I'm gonna send these photos to the blockchain and keep them there so that one day my grandkids will know what their granddad was, or my great grandkids, or whatever. But also, I'll be bidding them, well, not bidding them, but like putting them in as NFTs too. So if people want to see them, you can check them out. They're all on my account in Instagram, so you don't have to like search for them. You can just look at them, and each of them has a unique story. So yeah, that's Forward NFT in 17 Immortals. And then in a few weeks, I'll be dropping some teas, some Forward tees, socks, beanies, t-shirts, shorts, whatever. So keep an eye for that. But today I just have a lot of fun stuff. I came from camp Blue Sky, by the way. You should check them out. Awesome. And I had a fun experience, and there's so many things that I learned from people, because like you meet people who are not necessarily from the neck of the woods as you. I think that's right. And so yeah, I just got to like know them, and we had a good time, and I learned a lot. And during that time, a lot happened. One is Shakira. Now, you all know Shakira, right? From 2010, she kind of rose to fame with her song Waka Waka, and then she was in Zootopia, and then as the Gazelle or something like that. And then she's been in multiple stuff, but like she's a singer, musician, artist, dancer, all of that. Just put them together. And then to add on top of that, she was married to a guy who's a soccer player and plays, or a football player who plays for Barcelona, Gerard Piqué. So anyway, so when I was young, I was like 9. I really like Shakira. I had a crush on her when I was 9, because that's when she was performing at the World Cup. And I remember thinking, she is cool. Like, to do that, and like actually to like incorporate like South Africans and other people from other tribes to make that song was so cool. And I loved Shakira ever since. But in the same tournament, she met her husband. And I was 9 anyway. So then like 12 years later, they split up. Well, I don't want to get into that, but they split up. So now Shakira is single. And I was thinking, you know what? This would be funny if I just make a video pitching to Shakira why I would be the perfect date. Right? Now, let's get ready. I was at camp and somebody was like, you should do this. And they were like, yeah, you should just do it for fun. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. So here's my video pitching to Shakira why I'm the perfect date. Reason number 1, well, this is just a joke. Remember that. Reason number 1 is I play football too. I might not be professional, but I play football. So that should count, all right? So if she misses football, if she misses football, I'll be there to play football. See? And I'm also a huge Manchester United fan. We kicked Gerard Piqué out, so that should count. So we should have something in common. Number 2, Shakira said it's time for Africa, but actually it wasn't. So I think now it should be. You get what I'm saying? Like, she said, oh, it's time for Africa, blah, 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 and then she left. I was like, yeah, so now it really should be time for Africa. 3, I have a podcast. And guess what podcasters do? They talk, they complain, they cry. She could come and cry on my podcast. He doesn't have a podcast. I do. So that's another thing. So that's 3 things. Wow, Gerard, you're losing. Number 4, I'm from Kenya. Now that's my biggest thing. Kenya will always be my biggest thing. You know why? Because 1, Spain, where the other dude is from, has not even won something in the recent years. We win rugby every year. Well, I don't know, maybe like a few years here and there, but we're good in rugby. Kenya is a beautiful country. Kenya has a lot of fun stuff, and Kenya is unique. So I'm from Kenya. It's time for Africa. Let's make it happen. So yeah, I think if we put all those together, could do something. So Shakira, those are my 4 reasons. Forget about PK. Guess what? It's just a joke. Wow. I hope nobody takes that seriously. But yeah, that was fun. I thought it was always cool. Cause she's really like genuinely. She seems like a good guy, a good person. Sorry, she seems genuinely like a nice person. I don't know why I said good guy. So yeah, that was it. I made a video. So everybody who was pressuring me, there you go. Number 2, while I was at camp and the month before that, I saw something that I still don't understand. I know I can play this video because YouTube is going to take it down for copyright, but there was a clip of a mermaid in Kenya, right? Now, people say, oh, it's fake. The police said, oh, it's fake, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, there's no way those people could have made that up. Like, what would have been their intention to begin with? 2, it looks really real. Like, if you look at the video, it looks so real. Like, that seems like a mermaid to me, or at least something like that. And then, to add on top of that, I don't think those people, you can see that the video was recorded it was like a crappy video, like, it wasn't like high quality, so there is no way those people could have edited that. Like, I don't think anyone in that vicinity had the idea or the ability to like make it look like it did. That's not CGI. So either somebody put their body into the fish, which seems insane, or that is real. And the police said, oh no, it's not real. Now my question is, where did this mermaid go to? And we always talk about, there's 3 things. Well, I think, yeah, there's 3 things that people keep talking about. 1 is unicorns, if they exist. No, they don't. They don't. That one I can say they don't. And dinosaurs. I don't know much about dinosaurs. People will argue back and forth. I truly believe maybe they existed. There's, if you look at the crocodile and the lizard, you're like, oh, yeah, I could kind of see that. But the 2 biggest ones are always mermaids and aliens. And I don't know much about aliens. They're outside, so we couldn't really know. Like, we're still trying to find out about that. But one thing we can find out, because they should be with us, is mermaids. They're in the planet, right? They're not outside. They're not like flying around and we spot them every once in a while. They should be with us. They're in the sea, and the sea is in Earth. And now we have so much technology that if we wanted to find these things, we would. Unless they have like some magical abilities that just clouds us and blinds us, and so we can never find them. Like in Black Panther, they have like that thing, the ring, or like the thing that covers Wakanda, so you never know it's there. So maybe that's what the mermaids are doing. Maybe, just right down in Mombasa, there's actually a city, like right close to the water. But you'll never get it because you keep going through it, but you cannot see it. Who knows? So yeah, it'll be fun to know if mermaids really exist, and if they do, I would want to go down there. Because I feel like up here, the price of gas is so high. I do want to go down there and see what they could offer. And if I could breathe, I would want to move down there. See, they won't have visas and stuff because that's like what human beings do. So I would be like, hey, dudes, come on. I mean, just let's do this exchange thing. You bring one person, we would find like a huge fishbowl for them, or we'd find like a huge tank for them, and they could just travel around. And then for you, I will come there and teach you the ways of the earth and, the good parts. And so we could do like an exchange program with them. But I do want to know, I'm so curious, do they really exist? Like, whoever came with the idea of a mermaid, where did that come from? Like, it's not just like somebody just got up one day, is like, oh, let me just name this a mermaid. There has to be like a sequence of ideas and series of like information that led to a mermaid being called a mermaid. So I want to know that. But yeah, I really want to know much about that. I hope by this far, I've not said anything that will get me cancelled. At least not yet. But if we continue, I do want to talk about a time when I got cancelled. And I actually have a video of the reason, like the video that led me to be cancelled. I'm not even like known. I'm not known. But somehow I got cancelled. So I have a show on Fireside. And one time, I was talking about something. Here, I'll play the video. I was against that. Let's say today that nobody is supposed to be swimming. If you swim in the oceans, that's wrong, right? Now, that's my cause, right? And then, what do I need? I need people who are not so smart. And I'm sorry to say this, but of course there are people who are not so smart in the world, right? I need people, and I need a bunch of them, right? A bunch of people who are not so smart, yeah, to help me push that point, right there. That is why I got cancelled. I said something that you can pick people who are not smart enough and create a revolution with them, right? And some people didn't like that. Now, here's the funny part. They did not take the whole thing. They only clipped that part. And then they sent it to Fireside. And Fireside was like, we got this complaint that you were breaking our rules and stuff. And so you have to like go for 2 weeks suspension. I was like, come on, really? So here, I'm going to play the clip by itself. And then you see the difference. Here we go. I need people who are not so smart. And I'm sorry to say this, but of course there are people who are not so smart in the world, right? I need people, and I need a bunch of them, right? A bunch of people who are not so smart. See? That's what happens. People just clip a section of what you say, and then they send it, and then that's it. You're cancelled. So, yeah, I was cancelled, and I was like, huh, really? Like, I talked about something, like, if you understood the whole thing, it would have made sense, but you just chose to listen to a small piece. So, I don't know. People are just funny. But, again, it's two people that have been cancelling me all this time. There's two ladies on Fireside all the time. So I sometimes talk about stuff, right? And then they will get you. They will ask you questions that you know will get you. And so sometimes I just like forget and answer stuff in a way that they want me to answer, and then they trap you, and then they start asking you questions like, I don't even know how to explain it, but they'll be like, so what do you think about this? And you're like, I think about it, like, oh, so you mean you think this? And like, no, that's not what I meant. And then it just goes back and forth, and then they find you. So like, they've been reporting me a lot. There's so many complaints. I'm like, there's nothing I've done. Nothing. But hey, it's a new real world. But you know what? The funny thing about getting cancelled, you can't get cancelled more than 10 times. And at some point, you'll just be like, let's leave this guy. So I'm like on 3, so I'm waiting till 10. Then this might get me cancelled because of the next things I'm going to talk about, which I want to put a reminder. My podcast says on the description that I want to live a life that reflects God. So, the things I'm going to talk about should not be taken seriously. It's a joke, all right? And, people, when you never want to mess with what people believe in, right? People want their belief, at least, to never be progressive and to never evolve. Like, you want to believe that a square is a square. There's no day a square will become a circle. And it should be like that, and if it's like that, life is good. The moment that square becomes a circle, your entire universe is crumbled, right? That's how people believe. So, like, a good example is the Bible or the Quran or something. Like, there's so many beliefs that people, are changing, but some people don't like it. And one thing that I always like doing is just making people not uncomfortable, just like talking about things that people don't want to at least like have an open mind about. Like Jesus. right? Jesus jokes. If you've heard of Jesus jokes, one, I always ask people, like just my friends, like, why do you think Jesus has not come back? And I always tell them, what if he's still mad at the people who beat him? You know, I know it's bad, I know, but I'm just asking. And then you could see their face. They'll be like, oh, how could you say that? You're not going to heaven. I'm like, I'm just asking. It's just a joke. They're like, you should not joke about that. Like, okay, all right. And then they say that in like his lifetime, one day to us is like, no, one day to him is like 1,000 years to us. So maybe he just got there yesterday. You know, he just got back up yesterday. And then the one that always like, as a kid, I used to ask this question and nobody wanted to answer me. And I'm like, well, I just want to know, like, as a kid, you don't understand. I never understood the divine thing. There's God, there's Jesus, and there's the Holy Spirit, right? So God is the Father, Jesus is the Son, and then the Holy Spirit is like the Holy Spirit. And then if you put them together, they make one God. That makes sense. That makes sense because as human beings, we have the physical part of us, we have the like the mind, and then we have our soul. They're all different, but they make one. So I can kind of understand that, right? The part that I don't get is here's the part I never got as a kid. Now I do, but Jesus is the Son of God, correct? We are children of God, so technically, that makes Jesus our brother. Right? Right? Because if you think about it in that way, in human form, so that means our older brother is kind of is a God. He's part of the Trinity. But then we are his brothers, so why don't we have powers? That's how I used to think as a kid. I was like, if we are God's children, which we are, Jesus is also God's child, so he's like our brother, our sibling. That means we should get powers. And I asked somebody that, like I asked a teacher that one time, and they got so mad. I was like, even just one power, just one. Like just walking on water, that's all we want. And the teacher was like, oh my God. Like she was mad. And I was like, I'm just asking. I just want to know. And so after that, I kind of like stopped asking those questions. But here's what I'm gonna say. Every single human being thinks of stuff that is crazy all the time. Crazy stuff. If the government could see what you're thinking, you would go to jail. Every single person. I know that for sure. Even me. There's some things you think that you're like, well, if the person sitting next to me knew about this, I would be dead. But that's what the brain is like. It encloses in there, and you can be able to think and nobody will know what you're thinking. Well, for now, Elon Musk is working on that, but for now, nobody will know what you're thinking. And so I'm sure the things I'm talking about like powers and all that, people think about that every day, but they just don't want to say it because society is supposed to be nice and comfy, right? But I just asked, and my teacher almost sent me out. She was so mad. So that was the end of my jokes. That was the end of me inquiring. So now I'm just going to, at least now I know. Now I'm older, I understand the whole thing. But as a kid, you know, I was just exploring and I wanted to know. So, hey, there's nothing you can do about that. Which also brings me to, I was thinking this morning, as I was taking my breakfast, I take tea, right? In the States, tea is not common. There's coffee, which really makes me anxious, or orange juice. And I was thinking, orange juice. And it was my first time thinking, who drinks orange juice? And I never realized this, but orange juice is very, very common in the States. It's like this staple breakfast thing, orange juice. Ew, my gosh. If I had any other choice, orange juice would be like at the bottom of the list. And I want you to tell me this. Orange juice or mango juice? Which one do you go with? Orange juice or mango juice for breakfast? Because for me, the idea of having a glass of orange juice just does not click. Just the taste, I don't know, it's just something. It's like thinner, I guess. And the mango juice is more like solid. I don't know. It's just different, and it's tastier. Mango juice is sweet. I like sweet stuff. Um, and so I never understood why people are so obsessed with orange juice. And so I want to take a poll and know, like, if you had, because I know mango juice, mangoes are not like that common in the States, but if you had mango juice and orange juice, would you still take orange juice for breakfast? This is for the people in the States. Because in Kenya, I know the answer. Nobody would take orange juice for breakfast if they had apple juice or mango juice. This just doesn't make sense. So I want to know what the obsession with OJ is. So yeah, I've always wondered, why do people really like orange juice? It's not that good. At least for me, it's my opinion. Hey, don't cancel me, please. But yeah, so thinking of opinions and stuff like that, I had a friend and we were talking and I asked her something and she answered me. She said, oh yeah, no, yeah. Yeah, no, yeah. And so I was like, okay. And so I never thought about that. I was just like, she said yes. The last thing she said was yes. I don't even think I even had the whole thing. I just said, okay. So then I proceeded to do whatever I think we were doing like work projects. And she was like, I was like, what do you need? And she was like, yeah, you can do that. She said, yeah, no, yeah. And so I did that. And she was like, why did you do that? I'm like, yeah, you said, yeah, no, yeah. Or there was something, and there was like a miscommunication. And I was like, I don't get it. And so we sat down and I realized, on top of learning English is not my first language. On top of learning English, now there's a new trend. Oh, it's been there for a while. I just never knew about it. I'm learning. I'm done. And so it goes like this. There's a few things that if people say, I just learned, you should know they don't mean what they're saying. So one is yeah, no, yeah means yes. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, no, yeah means yes. No, yeah means no. Why would you put yeah when you're just saying no? It makes no sense. But hey, I don't know. Then yeah, no for sure. Yeah, no for sure. It's like yeah, no for sure means yes. Again, yeah, no, yeah is yes. No, yeah means no. Yeah, no for sure means yes. Fine. Now this one I know. Fine means not okay. I'm fine. Not okay. And then yeah, whatever means no. See now I'm hyper. Like anytime somebody says yeah, I'm like, what are they gonna say again? And if they say, I'm like, I'm cool. I know these things now. You know, I'm not dumb, so you won't leave me behind. So yeah, no, yeah means yes. No, yeah means no. Yeah, no for sure means yes. Fine, which is this is universal. It means not okay. And then yeah, whatever means no. And so I don't know. It's just a thing. I don't know. There's nothing I can say more to that. But I have one last question for you before I finish. Is it better to think emotionally or logically? Which one always wins? Because I've seen people who are super emotional and it never goes well, and people who are super logical and it never goes well. But in the long run, there's always like something that comes out of both of them, you know? The immediate result might not be well, but in the long run, if one is truly like, if you really believe in one, there's a result. There's always a result for each of them. So I tend to think with the heart, right? Some people tend to think with their brain. So when these two people meet, somebody who's super emotional and somebody who's super logical, when they meet, it's always a funny experience because the emotional person is going to be like, where were you born? Who are you? You know, they will be so surprised. Then the logical person will be like, no emotions at all, be like, I don't know, I was born on Earth. And be like, oh, that's so rude, you know? But I'm always wondering, like, because I know people are just going to go for the easy answer and say, oh yeah, you have to have both. Yeah, what if you don't? Which one would you choose? That's a survey for you. Would you be either emotional or logical, and why. So, anyway, that was the first episode of my YouTube channel that I just started. Please click the subscribe button, and if you don't want, fine. But then when you come back again, you'll click it, please. But yeah, so that was the first episode. I hope it went well. I hope you liked it. And if you didn't, please don't cancel me, because I want to be back for a second one. And again, the Shakira joke was a joke. The Jesus joke was a joke. I'm stressing this out because I have said this before and I still got cancelled. So just don't want people being like, oh, you're pushing me too far. No, I'm not. It's just what everybody thinks. You just don't want to say it. You understand? Don't want to say it. And yeah, please check out Forward NFT 17 Immortals, and wait very soon. If you're gonna buy stuff for summer, I'm asking you to please just wait a little bit. I have some ugly t-shirts coming out. If you're a fan of ugly t-shirts, I have some nice t-shirts coming out. So please just wait. I'm begging you, please wait for just a short time so that I can send you Forward t-shirts. But other than that, thank you and have a great day.